Hi there, I'm Toni Taylor with Interconnect Mortgage, and I'm joined here by my good friend Frank Rekas, who is a financial wealth manager. And we wanted to spend some time today helping you understand some of the differences of different companies and businesses in that space. So, good morning, Frank. How are you?
Good morning, Toni. I'm good. Nice to see you today.
You too. And just give everybody a little bit of background on your company and, all the different services that you offer, if you would.
So I'm with Palm Wealth Partners. We're here in Boca Raton, Florida, but I do work nationwide. I have clients, throughout the United States. We're an independent financial planning firm. So we'll do financial planning, we'll do insurance, we'll do wealth management, we'll do investment management, and we also collaborate with people's CPAs to do tax planning and also with their estate planning attorneys and business attorneys to do legacy and business planning or business continuation planning.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to be a little punchy on this one. So kind of in my space too, right? Like, I don't want to say we're a dime a dozen because obviously we're very unique in our spaces and in the services and experience that people have when they work with us. And I know that you are the same, and there are a lot of other financial planners, but help people understand what is the difference between going to an independent and going to a large, I don't want to even throw the names out there because I don't want to get in trouble for mentioning the big names. But, if you went to a bank that had this type of a channel in it, or something along those lines, what is the difference between somebody like yourself and how it works so people can understand those distinctions and what might be the right fit for them?
So great question. And I'm not going to mention any names either because the companies are good, but it's how they operate, which can make a difference. But being an independent financial planner, number one, I don't have a proprietary product that I have to sell or at least have to show you. So it's what we'll call open architecture. I have the whole universe of insurance, investments, and products to talk to people about. So I think that separates us a little bit right there, number one. Number two, and this is kind of like my phrase, I start with the person to serve, not a product to sell. And I've experienced the world of where somebody calls you up, hey, Toni, I've got this great product I think you should buy because everybody else has it. My joke is I call it the Plotnik 3000. It's, it fits everything that you need to have. We just don't operate that way because every situation is different. If there's a product that's going to solve your problem or be the solution to what you need, it will surface. But we don't start that way. We start with you. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your expectations? And we work into a product if a product even has to be there.
Now, I love that. I think that that's something that, personally I've gone through and interviewing and, moving things around and trying to decide who the right fit was. And one of the things that stood out for me was that I would talk to people and they would never ask me any questions about what my personality and my relationship to money is. And it is very personal for people. And I think that, when you are working with somebody like yourself, understanding my emotional needs and my attachment to money or my risk thresholds, my comfort level and things like that is very important because what somebody else my exact same age, my exact same demographic might want to invest way more aggressively than I want to invest or vice versa. So without having those conversations, so if you meet with, I always say, if you meet with somebody and they're like, I know exactly what I'm going to do for you, and you've had no kind of dialoguing about everything, it's a flag and you should run for the hills.
Immediately. I mean, growing, and a lot of people's experience with money stems from their childhood. For me, we were not rich. We were barely comfortable. And money was tight. And I really didn't realize it till I got older. And then I started to look back on things. And I came from a divorced family. So that made things even more difficult because that was at a time when divorce was like a complete, no. But it was hard for both my mom and my dad. And, I had an older brother and things were not easy. So I can bring that experience to people to help them make sure that they don't go through some of the same things that I have or that their children don't go through some of the same things that I have gone through as well.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I have the same thing. I'm super conservative. My parents weren't divorced, so I didn't suffer from that. But we were very, lower middle class family in the Midwest. And
Yeah.
as a result, I think the conversations, I just remember hearing a lot about there not being enough, or trying to make ends meet and make the money stretch. And so when you grow up, you're impacted and everybody responds differently to those environments. I've had to work very hard to be a little bit more uh, drop my scarcity mentality and live more in
Mhm.
an abundance mentality, and so that I can at least invest at a level that's logical and not just paranoia, fear of
Yeah,
loss.
exactly.
That
Right.
hurts me too, right? So I
Right.
get it. That's fantastic. Well, Frank, how would somebody reach your office?
So the best place to reach me is my cell phone. My number is 954-253-5508. I also have a website. It's www.palmwealthpartners, and palm is just like palm tree. So
Awesome.
palmwealthpartners.com is the website.
Fantastic. So, if you're exploring anything, make Frank part of your conversation. And I think you'll be very happy you did. He has the ability and expertise. And he and I both share the philosophy that we should be working collectively with all the financial pillars in your life so that you can make a very informed decision as you navigate these pieces. So, Frank, thank you so much for taking the time and help us bring some more education to the world out there in this space. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, and I help at least one person who has listened to this.
No, they will. And I think, for those of you listening, I'm Toni Taylor with Interconnect Mortgage. It is my goal to bring you education, to make you aware, help make you aware of things that you may not realize should be important for you at this point in time in your life. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon.